Good morning, my name is Olivier Attia. I'm the CEO and founder of Gershon Consulting. Gershon Consulting is about bringing French company to the US. Today we are going through my background, my experience as an entrepreneur in France and in New York, where I've been living for the last 15 years. It's going to be exciting to see the differences between failure, success, going up, down, and meeting with a lot of investors that have great and crazy stories. What an investor wants to hear during a pitch is problem solution. I find a big problem or a problem and I do have the solution. We call that an elevator pitch because you're going to be in an elevator and you want to make sure that within 2 minutes you get the person's attention by making sure that you get the keywords there, explaining, you know what, there's a big problem out there and I'm aware of the problem and I find a solution. Can we meet? So please practice and practice and practice. As the CEO of the company, you need to practice constantly this elevator pitch. You need to tell thousands of people what's the best way of getting their attention on your product. Make sense? Okay. So my name is Olivier Attia. I've been living in New York for the last 15 years. I had no intention of being an entrepreneur. It didn't make any sense to me. What's the point of taking so much risk when you can get a good job in New York especially? So I was a consultant for a while and then I realized, you know what, I'm helping all the others to make a lot of money and it's about time that I'm doing my own. So very quickly, let's go through my background. I am French, totally French, entirely French. Pierre and Marie Curie, my dad is a math teacher. I had to go to Pierre and Marie Curie to study math. So, dug the math. Then my friends were going to Dauphine. I said, looks cooler there. So I went to Dauphine. I mean, in Dauphine you have 50-50 girls, guys. In Pierre and Marie Curie you have 90-10. So clearly that was the place to go. Then I moved to the US. I will explain the reasons. And in 2006, I decided it's time to go into the real thing there. Going to the MIT, understanding project management, understanding how to grow your businesses. So I've done the MIT Sloan for a couple of months. And then, because I love to cook, I decided it's time to be serious about cooking. So I had some money and I had some time. So I went to the French Culinary Institute of New York to learn how to be a cook. That was my Top Chef experience for several weeks. And I'm telling you, that was the toughest weeks ever. Those guys killed me. They were teaching me businesses, not cooking. A lot of things I learned in cooking, I used it for running and managing my businesses. Ingredients, staff, recipes, experience. Timing is key. And presentation, marketing. So a lot of things that I learned while cooking there, I use them in my experiences. As I said, first, out of Dauphine, Miage, then DESS de marketing, I decided consulting. So small subsidiary company of Atos origin, very, very focused on telecommunication. They had one big project, France Télécom. And France Télécom just acquired in 1994 a third of the mobile operator in Mexico, Telmex, Teléfonos de México. So I'm starting there. It's December 9th. And my boss is telling me, you're single, you're young, you speak Spanish? No, I don't. You speak English? Barely. So we're going to send you on a project. Where? Mexico. So I end up in Mexico City and working on a project for Teléfonos de México. It was supposed to be 2 weeks. It ended up being a year and a half. Loved it. Came back in Paris, Atos Origine. This is 1997, things starting to be the internet. Everybody's talking about internet everywhere, but in France, I'm pushing, I'm trying. No one's really want to do a website. Do I really want to do a website in 1997? Not exactly. So, US. I'm going to the US, I quit my job, I moved to the US. The real reason, to be honest with you, I met a girl. She said New York, I said New York, fine, we're going to New York. So I followed her, no jobs, no visa, nothing. I'm looking for anything, French companies, you don't have papers, you don't have a visa, not exactly. PricewaterhouseCoopers, consulting firm, launching a consulting for internet, the national internet practice. I have a telecommunication background with this 3 years of 2.5 years of telecom with Atos, and I can speak marketing. So you know what? You're going to be a consultant for PricewaterhouseCoopers. Boom, Boston, Tampa, Chicago. I'm traveling one project after the other. All big companies that want to become .com. A mess, complete mess. Lots of money throughout, from 97 to 2000. So I'm doing that for 4 years. First as a part of a project, then I become project manager. And I have my stories as a project manager, being barely speaking English. And clearly, I realized, you know what, I can fix projects. I can fix where it doesn't work. So it's time that I'm launching my own business. And this is when I start in '99 to do my research on, can we fix the problem of mixing the physical world to the internet? Is there a way of linking the cell phone, the website, through the cell phone and the real world? And that's where I launched ScanBuy. I will go into the details of what ScanBuy is about. ScanBuy is 2000 to 2006, 6 years. Then I launched another business, ClickOver. I will tell you what it is. And Audionamics from 2008 to 2012. And I finished in September 2012. On January 2013, I started my own consulting firm, Gershon Consulting. So let's start from my first experience as an entrepreneur. And I made a ton of mistakes. You have no idea the number of mistakes I made. I worked with the worst and the best because I had the money at the beginning. I raised some funds, friends and family money, love money. And with this money, I said, I'm going to go there. I'm going to explain that we can mix the physical world to the internet using barcodes. Right now, I'm pretty sure everybody has a barcode reader on their phone today. One way or the other, if you have a barcode reader on your cell phone, there's a license behind. There's a license either to read the barcode or to connect the information that you read from the barcode with a platform. And since ScanBuy has something like 56 patents related to barcode, there's a high probability that there's a license being paid to ScanBuy for this technology that you're using on your cell phone. Today, it's fantastic, 2013. I started a company in 2000. Way too soon. Way too soon, especially after the bubble bust. We're talking about a bubble bust in March 2000, and I started my company in March 2000. Very smart. So, 2000 to 2003, wow, that's really tough. Because I raised some money, but I'm going to run out of cash very quickly. I have my first version. I have great presentations. I was a consultant for a while, so slideware, we know how to do it. And I pitch a lot of VCs, and they're all saying, yeah, it's cool, very interesting, but not now, later. And I'm so dedicated, I have no choice. I have to figure out a way. So I'm meeting with the mobile carriers, telling them it's going to happen. You need to have a barcode scanning technology available to users. Yeah, but you need to convince the handset manufacturers, the Nokia, all those guys, the Motorola, to have the reader there. Then we can launch an app. At that time, there was no App Store, there was nothing. And there was no iPhone, there was no Android. It was Java, Symbian, Windows Mobile, and that was it. So we're doing back and forth, chicken and egg, as we said. And then at one point, you say, you know what, it will never happen. to 2000 to 2003, we're trying to figure out something. At the same time, B2C doesn't work, so we're doing some B2B things. And we are offering replenishment of office supplies for medical companies so they can use barcode scanning to get the information and re-buy the same product that they want over and over again. Nothing to do with business to consumer. And then I watched this show, this guy that we all know in the US, we cannot stand him, Donald Trump, and he's saying, think big. If you don't think big, nothing's gonna happen. So I'm saying, you know what, I'm gonna follow this thing. If they don't want to do it, we will do it. I got lucky. I got lucky because I put the application on a cell phone and I went out there and I said, we did it. We have the application. Amazon is opening the web services. And I presented that to journalists. And one journalist from Fortune magazine is saying, I like this story. I'm going to push that. So 2004, she's interested in the story. January 2005, we are named Breakout Company of the Year in Fortune magazine. I'm aware of it 2 weeks before. I'm looking for angels. I find a lot of angels very interesting by that suddenly. And I raised $2 million because there's something out there. Now there's a story. I find a PR agency and I tell them, you know what? I want you to be very aggressive. I want this story to be everywhere. 42 interviews on all TVs in the US, from CNN to Fox to ABC to CBS, all of them are talking about a comparison shopping application for a cell phone. The video is on YouTube, you can listen to it, you can watch it. That was the beginning of the story. And we're talking about 5 years after the launch of the company. But then suddenly all the VCs are saying, hey, we saw you on TV. And now the carriers are saying, my daughter told me about a barcode scanning technology. Why don't we have it? So suddenly everybody's into it. So the PR in this story was clearly an unbelievable way of putting out there the need for the application. There's a lot of things I learned in this experience. And I thought I learned from different people, obviously. At one point, I had a very talented GE consultant working for me. He killed me. He drove me nuts. This guy was an Israeli former army guy, and he told me several times, and he's told me it in Hebrew, and I didn't speak Hebrew. I say, you know what? No is not an option. You need to figure out something. You need to find your way. And then I learned later that actually no is not an option, that they say in Hebrew, is coming from the NASA in Apollo 13, where they say failure is not an option. I understood at that time that clearly the best entrepreneurs are the ones that go through a lot of mistakes, make a lot of mistakes. And even if you have a call saying, you know what, it's not working, we will not work with you, you know what, you need to keep doing it. You need to keep doing it until at one point, one journalist, Fortune magazine, or whatever, is telling you, you know what, I like this story. And I'm going to talk about it, and then things start. I left in 2006 because $12 million raised, lots of money at that time, because remember, the VCs are coming to say, we want to be in. And we hire a professional CEO, and now today I'm still a shareholder of the company, although I have a big check to leave my job as a CEO, but now those are the customers of ScanBuy. ScanBuy today is the worldwide leader in barcode scanning technology, either providing the reader to handset manufacturers or licensing it or OEM it, but mainly providing the platform. When you scan something, it goes somewhere, and ScanBuy is the one managing the somewhere for all these companies. Wow, that was complex. That was really, really difficult. I mean, I tried to do a lot of things, chicken and egg, pushing everyone, getting the data, getting the reader, work on all different types of sites, on all different types of devices. It was very complex. So I said, you know what, 2006, I need to figure out something that's going to be a lot simpler. I'm going to look for the KISS factor. Keep it simple, stupid. I need something really, really dumb, something that fixing a little problem, a little one, and then I'm going to build from this. So that's when I look at my dad, and my dad is showing me how he's using his cell phone. He's taking picture of my son, and I ask him, where are those pictures? They're here on the phone. And can I see them? I don't know how to get them out of the phone. So from time to time, I just delete them because I don't have space. Really? And he has a Nokia N95 at that time, 2006. So I decided to launch Clickova. Clickova is iCloud before iCloud. iCloud started in 2008. iPhone came up in 2007. So I launched a way of uploading your content, pictures, video, and address book from the cell phone in the background without seeing it to a website, clickova.com. Plus, at that time, a lot of VCs are saying, you know what, if you want to get money, you need to think solo mo. Social, local, mobile. Now you have a lot of explanation of social, local, mobile. But back then in 2006, 2007, it was like the beginning of, we're starting to understand the social part, 2006, 2007. So I'm launching the app, the end of 2007, everything is in place. Java, Symbian, Windows Mobile are working. And then I'm spending $2,000 in advertising on different websites to get traction and to get users. And suddenly, there's a viral thing going on. I'm launching that in the US. It doesn't happen in the US. Very quickly, India is #1 country. Indonesia. India, it took me some time to understand why. Mainly because Indians have amazing cell phones but don't have computers. They cannot afford computers. So they were basically doing pretty much everything on their cell phone. Amazing, N95, K800 from Sony Ericsson, all those great devices. So they were using and they were telling their friends. Plus, we were uploading the address book. Uploading the address book, that means we had a lot of emails and cell phones. So the first question we were telling them is, do you want to tell your friends? Click here. And we send an SMS to all your friends, an average 200 contacts by cell phone, to install Clickova on their phone. That's how you spread. So it did work, we spread, but mainly in those countries where clearly Indonesia, India, Iran, Laos, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, how am I going to monetize that? Those guys will never pay an app. It's free, but I need to figure out a way of making money here. And I'm looking and I'm looking and I realize it cannot be anything else but free. So I need to figure out an advertising business model. Can I figure out an advertising? The app doesn't do anything on the phone. And at that time, AdMob is at the beginning. So I'm integrating AdMob still. So the only way I can get that to work after my investment is to get a carrier to work with me and to provide this app and give me a little piece of the money that they make. At the end, I barely made money with this company, barely. Great idea, spread very quickly, but I was lucky to get an Indian carrier to license the platform for 3 years. That covered pretty much all my expenses, but I didn't make money. So what I learned from this experience was the following. I've done something wrong here. I was not quick enough, and I wanted to be cheap, and I wanted to be good. And this is a very important lesson that I have on all the companies that I'm helping today, which is you have to decide which one of those two, I'm sorry, I'm in front of it, which one of the two you need to pick. And sometimes I pick cheap and good, but I should have looked at the speed. Sometimes it's the speed, but the quality needs to be on top. So think about it for your own company, which one of the two you can pick. Unfortunately, you cannot have all three. So I'm exceeding, it's okay, I didn't lose money, but I didn't make money in 2008. I'm sorry, end of 2009. But in 2008, it's a very interesting story. A VC based in UK is telling me we have this French company, it's an R&D lab. We invested a lot of money, great idea, no business. We have no idea where it could go. And we believe the market is in the US. So you're French, you live in the US, can you help? And it's a UK-based company. So I'm going to London, trying to understand what's going on. Then I say, okay, let me look at this company. I know the guy, one guy working for this VC is the one that put the money in the company. And he asked me, work with me, because right now it's two options. We put a lot more money and we have no idea where we're going, or we shut it down. And we put 3 million euros on this thing already. So it's time to figure out something. So I'm coming to Paris, I meet this company, and the tech, wow, really good. But indeed, no market, no market. A great idea. Unbake the cake for sound. So if you're a musician, you know what it is. When you have one single source and everything is stuck in one single source, how can you unstuck them? So if I play saxophone and you play piano and you sing and someone is doing another instrument, whatever, and we put that all together in one single file, can we actually extract this piece, and this piece? People have tried to do that for the last 20 years. And those PhDs in signal processing in Paris got some great results. The question is, for what? What market can you go after? So I do some research. I'm going to Los Angeles because I feel like the entertainment industry could use that. And I come back with this consulting presentation saying, that's what I would do. Back catalog for the studios. Hollywood studios have a lot of back catalog content. 87% of their revenues are coming from back catalog, not the new catalog, the old ones. But the back catalogs are mainly in mono stereo. And if you want to sell more Blu-rays, high-end, more expensive DVDs, you have to have a better sound. From mono stereo to 5.1, you need to have the separate sources. That's how these guys can actually make a business. But you need to change everything. You need to change the name. You need to change the way you're going after this market. So I'm presenting that, and then the CEO of this VC is saying, okay, you do it. No, I'm not doing it. I live in New York. This is in Los Angeles. I've been in the mobile space for 10 years. You're asking me to go in the entertainment market. No way. I will spend at least 1 year to understand how this industry works. You know what? After four calls, I said, okay, I'm going to try. So I'm going to try for 1 year, and then you find the CEO to do it, because clearly I won't be able to manage this thing. From one application, from one technology, I create 5 different services. So I go into the service mode, thinking I need to make money. I need to have a proof of concept and a proof of business model. So I'm presenting those different services because I realize there's a need for those services by meeting with the customers. Meet with the customers constantly until one, Universal Studios is saying, why not? Let's do a test. So we have this title. We like the concept of upgrading and up-mixing a sound. So what about we give you this very iconic movie, Hitchcock, Psycho. It's a 60th anniversary. We want to do a Blu-ray, great sound. We don't have the sources. Can you do your magic? And that's how they call it, the magic. So we work on this first title for Universal. The result is spectacular. It's amazing, beautiful sound. And at that time, I realized I need help. And that's one of the big lessons that I had in my experiences. Help. When you don't know, ask for help. So I was lucky to have a great connection in France. The company was French originally. So I'm going to Pierre Lescure, CEO of Canal+, and I say, Pierre, can you help me? I have this great company, but I need network. I need people that have connections. And I've just done this thing for Psycho, for Universal. It works. So we need to spread out the word. We need to tell people that it did work, and all the others should do the same. So Pierre is calling his friend Thierry Frémaux at the Festival de Cannes. And Thierry Frémaux is saying, okay, fine. We're going to present this new version of Psycho at the 2010 Festival de Cannes. So red carpet, all the thing, big thing, and then amazing PR. the Hollywood Reporter, the main magazine on entertainment, is talking about Psycho and the fact that this French-based company, Audionamics, I changed the name from Mist Technology to Audionamics, is providing this thing. Then we started to do a great PR campaign. And then I'm going to all the studios one by one. And they all say, are you sure? Because it costs a lot of money, and we don't have a lot of money right now. Seriously, you are the studios in Hollywood and you don't have money. Yeah, but you know what, this title, we don't know if we're gonna be able to make a lot of money there. So, oops, doesn't work. Proof of concept, but do not have a proof of business model. Too expensive for my customers. Yeah, for some titles like Psycho, we've done 5 movies, didn't go very far. So again, going for help. And seriously, really going everywhere. Please help me, help me. I need to figure out something. The technology worked. I still haven't figured out the business model. And this is what I find out, and that's another big lesson. When you run a company, they're clearly the things you know. And there are the things that where you need help. The things you don't know. What I didn't realize, the amount of things that I didn't know. The number of things that I didn't know about the industry, the entertainment industry, the way they work. It was not about the technology. It was about my relationships. It was about my access to the management level. Because when the management is saying, we don't care about the money, we want it because it's about quality, then suddenly you got the budget. So it's not about working with the sound guys that say, I like this, but I don't have the budget. It was about going to the big guys saying, find the budget, and then the other one's going to follow. So one studio after the other one, we are going and meeting with all of them at all levels. And then suddenly we start to see some things, some ideas. In the middle of it, we got lucky. And that's another very interesting experience. You work on something for several years and you realize, wow, there's a timing here. I'm helping one company right now, they work on virtual currency. No one cared about virtual currency until 2 months ago when suddenly everybody's talking about Bitcoins. And then suddenly this virtual currency is becoming a Bitcoins company and all the investors wants to be there. Timing is very important. So we got quote unquote lucky in 2010, so in the middle of my problem, because 2009 I got the Psycho thing, we're going to Cannes, but 2010 I still have no business. So something happened and I said, don't miss it. We have an opportunity here, guys. We're gonna work night and days. Remember 2010, the World Cup and the vuvuzela problem that everybody's talking about? The sound that's killing the football, soccer, we're in English. Soccer. In one day, we create a vuvuzela remover. And I'm calling again, Pierre Lescure. I say, Pierre, I have a solution. Where can I go? He's calling TF1. TF1, no answer. He's calling Canal, Thierry Denet, responsible for sports, saying, I want it. Not only I want it, but I don't want the others to have it. And I'm going to do a huge PR about that because I want people to get Canal Plus, thanks to the fact that we are the only one that can remove the vuvuzela during the World Cup. And that's all the interviews I gave on all those magazines and things about the vuvuzela remover. 3 days. I'm not telling the number here, but we made a lot of money in 3 days. You have an opportunity, you pick it. And I recall my VP of sales, an American guy, when I asked him, what do you think? Don't go there. You're going to waste your time. 2 weeks later, I didn't have a job. But I understood. My team was capable. We created a name for the company. My investors were so happy, putting interviews everywhere themselves. So we got it. We got something that worked, but still no business model. So that's another lesson. I'm sure you heard that before. A company is about like basketball, pivoting. You try something, we tried with Psycho, up mixing, didn't work. Worked technically, but didn't work from a commercial standpoint. So we tried and we tried until we figure out something. One of our solution is about removing music and only music. And CBS is telling us, if you can remove the music, can I actually give you a title that I had from the 80s? Remember Beverly Hills 90210? We have that for years. And we want to sell that in digital network. But we've done that in the 80s. And in the 80s, we were not that smart. So we licensed the music, every single little piece of music, Michael Jackson, Paula Abdul, all those guys. We licensed 2 or 3 minutes of music, but for 5 years. So if we want to resell this content, we need to relicense the music. It costs so much money. It doesn't make any sense. So just remove the music and put something else, same style. Okay, we'll do that for one episode. Paula Abdul, episode 242. She wants $30,000. We do it for $3,000. 3 minutes, $1,000 a minute. And okay, works. Can you do the full season? How many episodes do you have? 25. Okay, starting to be interesting. So we've done season 6. We're going to do season 7 now. How many seasons you have? 12 seasons? Whoa, okay. And you want one language, correct? No, we want all the languages because we've done French, German, and we want all the languages, 14 languages. Whoa, $3 million. One show. Are you serious? This is what you want? Yeah, because we know how to sell it. So at that time, what we understand is we're fixing a problem. We become have to have and not nice to have. A lot of things that you have to think and ask yourself is my product a have to have or nice to have? And suddenly we become have to have. And CBS is becoming our first customer. And then we're going one studio after the other saying we have a product called music dissociation. We can remove the music from a TV show and boom, everybody's saying we want it. Those are the customers of Audiodynamics today. And the team is in Los Angeles. The research team is still in Paris. So we still have the R&D in Paris, but production and sales is in Los Angeles. So another lesson that I learned is, and it's still linked to everything we've seen before, is a quote that I really like. You keep trying. You keep trying until you figure out. Honestly, I don't know where this one is coming from. I don't know. So I looked online, I was looking who wrote this proverb, because that's the one I put on my Facebook page. And I couldn't figure out. So I said, you know what, but that's not the only one I cannot figure out. So even if I find the name, I will not be able to know who it is. And that's another one too. But there's one. Hervé, that's for you. There's one that I know where it's coming from. Correct? You can work a lot. The result is very interesting. But what you're learning in the path is extremely important. So personally, 2012, for some very interesting reasons, the VCs internally are fighting about this company because now it's becoming successful and they want to do exit and they want to sell it. Valuation go crazy and it's a fight internally, and I'm saying, you know what? I will not make anything here. I made something before, not this one. So give me a good check to leave and I'm leaving. And that's what happened in September. So since September, I'm thinking, okay, what do I do? What do I learn? What did I learn that I can now use for my next venture? I learned the things that I know I'm good at. And the things I know I'm not that good at. And I realized that a business is about first, create, second, manage, and third, sell. You can go up, down, everywhere. At the end of the day, there's 3 things you have to do in your business. And I'm helping a lot of startups in New York. I'm doing pretty much the same thing here in the incubator platform in New York as well. And I've seen all the time the same mistake. We spent a lot of time in creating. we have an idea. We think about a product, a service, something. But at the end, we manage a little bit, but we don't sell, or we barely sell, or we don't know how to sell. And we don't spend enough time on the selling part. And when you look at all the needs, everything that you need to do within a company, it's all linked to those three things. What I call the boring thing in the middle, on the bottom, creating the product and managing the product and maintaining the product and everything related to the product or service, and everything on top. You as a CEO should spend 80% on the top. And I'm sure you're spending 80% on the middle. You need to spend most of your time on what's going to make your company living, existing, staying in business. The exciting part is the product. Yeah, but unfortunately you have people to do it for you. The most important part is about focusing on the selling. So I realized personally that I was good at selling. Creating, okay. Managing, not that much. So I work with people to help me manage. In October and November, I meet a lot of VCs that I know for a long time, because with Scanby, at one point with Clickover, I wanted to raise money. Audiodynamics, a lot of meetings with all of VCs as well. Although we didn't have to raise money, we had a VC, but I realized I have an unbelievable connection with the VC world. Something like, I look at my address book, something like 200 VCs. And I'm calling them. Rather than launching something, tell me what's missing. Tell me where I could go and build something that you know is missing, or you know you will find this thing if you find it. And they tell me, you know what, it's not about new things, it's about the existing ones. We have a lot of companies right now that are missing all those pieces that you're talking about. Great product, no business model. Or the people don't know how to sell. Or the CEO is great because he had a great idea, but he doesn't know how to bring that to market. So help us. And now I'm helping those VCs to figure out how their company that already invest in money bring from something interesting, what I call a company, to a business. It's very easy to have a company. It's very difficult to have a business. So I launched my own consulting firm with several others in New York about providing those services. On the left side, it's not me, it's not us. I have the people that have been working for the last 10 years that are my providers. And when I need someone to set up the business, I'm using one of them here. That's what we offer. We offer this part. And we have, through 5-6 people, the knowledge. We've done it. We are experienced in this part. I have the guy that took care of my PR campaign. He's now my partner. And we are on the same platform, pretty much the same thing as this. And this is a PR agency that I have with me here. I have the same thing for buying your database. I have the same thing for cold calling. So I put all those services together and I create this Gershon consulting firm to help, mainly what I've done with Audiodynamics. Good technology. You don't have to take a picture, it's on the website. It's there. Good French technology, because I'm still French. And I think we have amazing technology here to bring them to the US. And that's what our company is about. So what we do here is, first, we tell them it works or it doesn't work. You will have a business in the US or you will not. Sorry. So we do first a market research, making sure that we understand, is there a fit? Some products, they cannot. Some services, either. So first, we do a pre-launch strategy. We look at the company. We are providing consulting. And then we take a piece of the company, the US company, not the French company. We put money in the US company to bring this US company to market. Not a lot, sometimes 100K, sometimes 500K. That's more or less what we need. And we launched the business. The idea came one person, one meeting. Those are today, 5 customers that we have. Nothing related to technology here, purely retail. We wanted to do technology, but the first that said, I need help now. My product needs to be in the US right now because it's sold in France. in part of Europe, but we want to have that in the US. Can you help? So one thing at a time, one stage. Pre-launch, consulting, and then we take a piece, and then we launch it, and we take a serious piece of the sales. So first I met with this cosmetic product. That introduced me to this one. And this one introduced me to their PR agency. It's the same PR agency, Brush. It's a toothbrush. Brush is telling me, I know this guy, he's doing candles. He should be in the US too. So I meet with Emmanuel Levin and then we close it. So one after the other, we close a deal with them to represent them and to bring them to market. But I don't know anything about those industries, nothing. So what I do is we hire people in the US specialized in this industry. Hire, we don't pay them. We work on commission with them. We're basically telling them, we have an amazing product, we put some money, you have 3 months. 3 months to bring that to show us that you can be the exclusive distributor of this company in the US. Since we do have the exclusive agreement with the owner in France, we do that with the people locally. That's I would say 60% of our time. 40% of our time is helping startups, because I still like startups and I still like technology. And there's one thing that I realize is the same thing. They don't know how to sell. But before selling, there's one thing that clearly I realized they were lacking: lack of funds. I launched my business, I raised some friends and family money, I got $200,000. I think I'm going to go very far. Sorry, touch the sound. No, you don't. You need more money. You need more cash. So let's make sure that you have a good business plan, because otherwise you're going to be in a situation where, boom, it's going to be the best time of your life. Everybody says you're going to have great product, but you won't have cash. So let's make sure that you have enough cash. I'm going to take personally 2 VCs that I know are in your alley, are in your field. There's no point having 200 meetings with all the VCs in the world that do not understand what a Bitcoin is. Okay, we're talking about the people that understand virtual currency. We're talking about the people that understand social networking. So today, this is the companies that I'm helping. This part is French, Soma is German, Freeink and Gencell are Israeli. And they all know that their market is US based. So what we're doing is we're making sure that they have enough cash by bringing them to the right VCs and helping them on execution plan. Because you can get lost very quickly. Very quickly. I like to work with the bests. This group. Of course, you heard those names: Sequoia, Climber Perkins. I spend a lot of time with all this. And unfortunately, a lot of them are saying, we understand. We do 1 meeting, 2 meetings, 3 meetings. They don't get it. And they give you a term sheet, and it's way under valuation that you expect. And you have no choice. You have to take it. And I've been there. With ScanBuy, I took 2 term sheets I shouldn't. So now that I understand the ecosystem and all the companies that I want to go after, again, I have this 200 contacts in my LinkedIn that I've been connected for years. I pick and choose. I pick 4 or 5, and I know they understand. As I said, I'm working right now a lot on this Bitcoins project, because I strongly believe in Bitcoins and virtual currency, and I think it's going to happen. Right now, it's a bubble. It doesn't make any sense. But I'm using this wave. I'm using this opportunity now to go after some of the VCs that I know are investing. And I got lucky to get Tim Draper from Draper Fisher Jefferson to be involved in the Bitcoins, and he liked that. So his son is basically telling me, I'm a big fan. I want to be in. Tell me, do you have one? And I do have one. So right now, this is what I'm basically telling them: don't go everywhere, don't go crazy, don't think that because you have 10 meetings with 10 VCs, you're going to get the term sheet. Pick and choose. Pick and choose the one that will understand your business, so you don't have to teach them. Also, help them to make sure that they invest in your company. Give them the keywords that they understand. I like the 9 points put on the website by this French guy, Fabrice Grinda. I'm sure you heard of him. He has this website, and he's basically telling he's an investor now that he made a lot of money. And he's investing in companies where he finds those 9 criteria. So make sure that you're going into these buckets. Make sure you fit. Because if you fit, the investors will like you. It's on his website, and the page is on the bottom here. That's going to help your business and going to help your investors to make sure that they know where they're going. So last 3 slides and 3 advices. Number 1, read. Read. At least 1 book a month at least about business, about startups, about launching your business, about managing teams, about everything. When I work with some of the CEOs, first thing I'm giving them is a book or 2 books. The one I like is the first to start is Getting to Yes about negotiation and The Tipping Point. That's the very basics. All my books, I have something like 200 books on my website on attia.com/books. Read stories from others. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn not to make the mistakes that the others did. Ken Rakowski is a friend, and he has his own radio show. And you can listen to his radio show on CBS Radio. It's online. And Ken, for the last 20 years, have been interviewing entrepreneurs and CEOs, asking, tell me your story. Tell me what happened. When did you fail? Why did you fail? And when you succeed, what happened? It's an amazing show. It's called Business Rockstars. And I really suggest that you listen to that. You're going to Stanford, or you went to Stanford, and I'm sure you heard about the e-corner of Stanford and all those conferences. Same thing. Amazing interviews of VCs and entrepreneurs and CEOs, large, small organizations, telling you what you have to know about businesses. We spoke briefly this morning with Elise about presenting companies to VCs and investors. There's one thing that I highly suggest is 2 things. Number 1, presentation have changed. Today it's not a PowerPoint, it's about a story. We talk about storytelling everywhere. And all the VCs expect you to tell a story. Why did you launch this product? The difference between those 3 companies here. This woman, she was a dermatologist. She knew skin, and she liked that she could create a product that was high-end, very expensive, $200 a little thing. This one, she comes from the spa world. Industry knowledge, product knowledge. This one, she has no idea what skin is about. She's a marketing person. She wrote a story first about her product. Her product is about the water. Her product is about, she created a story. She has 10 times more chances to succeed than the other ones because it's about the story. So think about the story of your business and make sure that I will send you the link. There's a great book wrote in French. It's about presenting your company using storytelling. And I can send you the link if you want, or you can find it on the website on Fnac. Great explanation of how to teach people, explain people your product. The second one, the second lesson that I learned, and obviously that's the reason I got the sound here. Make mistake. If you don't make mistake, you don't learn.